gotta stand up. Happy Monday, everybody. It's the beginning of the week, and I figured I'd do a spontaneous, like, what we eat in a week video, and hopefully I remember to film everything. I already forgot to film what we made for lunch and dinner, but I brought it with me. I had to rush over to the post office today, just until before they closed for lunch. I wanted to get all of our packages out, so I had to run here with my food. I actually have my food on me. So this is what we are having for lunch. So I roasted some white yams and I seasoned it really, really well with some hemp oil and like a bunch of onion powder and seasonings like oregano, Italian seasonings, and I roasted that for like about an hour. And then I also made a salad with leftover quinoa. So we try not to mix proteins with carbs. So I'll get into this later on, but basically vegetables are your middlemen, and vegetables go with carbs, vegetables go with protein, but never carbs and protein together. Your body is supposed to be a digestive system, a powerhouse to digest things. If you do it this way, your body will digest your food way better. We started a new blog. It's highpath.com. You are welcome to check it out, and we would love to share all of this knowledge in one spot, not on our Eden Body Care website, because that's more of a soap website, and more of like a, it's our shop. But we have started a blog to share more of this information and to share some more recipes and to share some just behind the scenes of small business and how we operate and tips and tricks, some of our favorite things that we use on our homestead for our business. So if you're interested in something like that, definitely check out highpath.com. Alright, it is time to head over to Walmart really quick and grab a few things and then head back, and we are going to bake a cake for one of our kids' birthdays. Once I got home, we baked immediately just to get it out of the way. And then there was this accident, which made the cake quite sweet, I must say. We don't usually eat very sweet foods, and so this cake was definitely a little bit too sweet, but a little bit of sweet is fine once in a while. We don't usually eat a lot, so this was still a very good cake. We decided to make a marble cake, so we're making a vanilla and a chocolate batch. Now, instead of using baking powder as our rise, since we don't eat corn or cornstarch items, we use apple cider vinegar and a little bit of baking soda instead. This combo works perfectly, and after adding all of the ingredients, we are going to prepare our pans. We just brush some coconut oil onto each of the pans so the cakes do not stick. And we never had an issue with sticking with these pans, and we're just going to alternate the vanilla batter and the chocolate batter. The vanilla batter is a little bit brown because of the coconut sugar. Once the batter is put into the pans, we are just going to bake them at 350 for about 35 minutes. Now, I know you're going to ask, do we have a recipe? No, we don't, not yet, but we will very soon. Alright guys, I just came back from working in the office for a little bit, and the kids have took out these cakes, so now it's time to cut them up a little bit, and we're gonna make a dog themed cake for our little one. So I'm excited, I can't wait. It smells lovely. So we're gonna make a very quick icing. It's really not an icing, it's like a chocolate sauce, and we're just going to use coconut milk, some coconut sugar, and some cocoa powder. So I'm gonna show you how we do it. For the chocolate sauce, in a small bowl, you're going to mix 6 tablespoons of coconut sugar and 6 tablespoons of raw organic cacao powder and some coconut milk, as well as some organic maple syrup. We also added a little bit of vanilla. You can skip this if you don't have it. And then you're just going to mix it up into a sauce type consistency. Now, after the cakes have cooled, we open it up in half. And to keep it moist, I just brushed a little bit of the maple syrup on the inside. For the other cakes, I ended up just cutting the tops off of it because I just wanted to keep the cake sort of thick. And so I am now assembling it. Look at this chocolate sauce in the middle of this cake. It is so delicious. And then we're just gonna layer it, and Emmanuel cut some little face features for this dog cake. And after assembling it, here is the birthday cake. For dinner, as I mentioned earlier, we made a potato soup, so I'm here just mashing the potatoes, and then we are serving it up. I like to leave big chunks of potato like this, and it's also mixed with small chunks as well. It is so delicious. We love potato soups. We ended up putting Black Panther on and watched it for this little one's birthday. Happy Tuesday, folks. It is a little bit chilly today. Today it's Tuesday. For breakfast, we normally don't have breakfast. I mean, I would buy fruit for the kids, and so we have some apples that they can pick. If I buy some berries, they will eat that as well. Trey will also have his apples early in the morning, and I'm just having some water with some chlorophyll. I try to drink half a gallon of water every single day because it's good to have water, obviously, and the chlorophyll is supposed to help me with my iron. And like I said, I normally don't eat breakfast. If the kids, if they know how to make waffles or like pancakes and stuff, so sometimes the kids will volunteer and make some. And so, you know, if they feel like they want some waffles, they are going to go and make them, and they normally bring me some because they are such wonderful kids. And actually, it is watermelon season very soon here. We're going to be planting some watermelons hopefully this year, like a ton of it. We go through a ton of watermelons, and watermelons are expensive, especially the organic ones. We normally get them at Sprouts or Whole Foods, and they're like $6-7 each, and we are a large family, and you know, we need a ton of them. We go through a ton of fruit. So this summer and this year in general is going to be very interesting because we're going to be planting a whole ton of watermelons. We can't wait, and we will show you exactly what we eat as a plant-based family, so we're excited to share that. Well, the kids didn't make waffles or pancakes today, but someone made me a date popsicle, so that's what I'm having for breakfast. All right, it is time for lunch prep. We are making a noodle dish. We are starting off with a veggie-filled sauce with some tomatoes, broccoli, peppers, onions, and we're going to prep some dinner too. For dinner, we're actually gonna make another potato soup because we have potatoes to use. Right now, we are just cooking up the noodles, and we're going to blitz up our sauce for the noodles. I also added some cabbage into the sauce for the noodles, and just cooked it until it is soft and tender. Then we are just draining and rinsing our chickpea noodles, and we are then adding the sauce to our pasta. This is so delicious and so quick, and this is our bowl. In these noodles, I also added some sesame oil, some green onions, and lots of cayenne because I love the spice, and it was so good. Back onto the potato soup, we are adding a whole bunch of seasonings, including Italian seasoning, paprika, cumin, and we are just topping it up with some water, and we're going to cook this for hours until dinner time. Once the soup is ready, this is what it looks like, and it is so good. Potato soups are like the most comforting soups. They are really cost effective, and it just tastes so good. Happy Wednesday, everybody. It is the middle of the week. We had a really rushy, busy morning, but we got all of our packages out, which is good. And some of the kids were hungry, so we just ate a banana for breakfast, and I forgot to film it, but we had a banana. I then asked what the kids wanted for lunch, and they voted on...
What do you want for lunch? Spicy noodles for lunch.
Spicy noodles. Spicy noodles.
Are you sure? No one wants a pasta salad or anything?
I don't want pasta salad.
Why?
Because spicy noodles are better.
Angelique, what do you want for lunch? Alright, what do you want for lunch?
Spicy noodles.
You don't even eat spicy. So I guess that's what we're having. We are making some spicy noodles. Our version of spicy noodles consists of a green sauce, or really any kind of sauce. Now the kids made an herbaceous sauce with some spinach, coriander or cilantro, and a little bit of parsley as well. And we just added our own homegrown Thai chilies and a bunch of other seasonings like cayenne, and also a little bit of hemp seed oil. Alongside with the noodles, I ended up making some cabbage as well. So while the noodles were cooking, I also was cooking the cabbage down. I just added some onions and peppers, cooked that down, and once the sauce was made and the noodles were made, this was our lunch. So delicious, so spicy. Of course, some of the younger ones didn't get the spicy, but I love the spicy, and a lot of our older ones also love the spicy noodles. And let's dig in. All right, guys, so this is our version. It's a spicy version, and I added some extra Sichuan peppercorns. I also added some cayenne. Grace already added some Thai chilies, so this is gonna be really, really spicy and delicious. We can't wait. All right, first bite. Let's see if it's spicy. It could definitely go spicier. Oh, nope. Here's a kick. I say it could still go a little bit spicier, but it is so good. Ah, we love the spicy noodles. And it was so easy and so refreshing. It is so fresh. We love it. Cheers. For dinner tonight, we are making an agusi soup. This is our version of agusi, which is a ground up melon. It is more of a Nigerian dish, which is usually eaten rather dry with some fufu. But we make it our own, and we make it curry flavored, and we let this cook for, I'd say, at least 4 or 5 hours. We are now going to finish up our agusi soup, and we're going to boil up a little bit of macaroni. We're going to use some elbow macaroni, and we're just going to put it into the soup. So it's like a agusi macaroni soup. We also have a little bit of the noodles left over, the spicy noodles, so we're gonna have some of that alongside with our agusi soup. This is what it looks like, and we just added the noodles, and this is the most delicious, comforting soups for dinner. That's a thumbs up from Trey. He approves of this dinner. And that wraps up Wednesday. Hello everybody, it is another day, and today is actually nice and gloomy and kind of cold. Today is going to be really busy for me because I have a work meeting it's going to be all day today. It's a whole thing. For breakfast, I brought some bananas with me at my desk here. Today, we are planning to make a goat curry. Now, it's not goat. We are plant-based, as you know. And so we are going to make it out of vegetables, but the flavors of the curry is going to be a goat curry because it reminds Trey of goat curry, but really it's just vegetables, and it's a really, really good, delicious tomatoey based curry. And we're also going to make some flatbread for dinner, and some chickpea flatbread as well, so Trey can use that to dip in his curry. It's so delicious. It's one of our favorite meals. Let's hope I have time to make that today. Well, look who got lucky. The kids made pancakes, so they love to cook, guys, and we're just so blessed because this is just so nice, especially when we're busy. They are able to cook, and so our 12-year-old Emmanuel, he's our oldest, he made us some lovely pancakes, and this is what we're having for a breakfast. I went ahead and drizzled a little bit of maple syrup on my pancakes, and I had breakfast while I did my meeting. Okay, I had some time to come out and make some lunch and dinner. So for lunch, we are making a roasted potatoes and sweet potatoes. We're also going to be roasting some other vegetables on the side. So I first started with the yams, or the sweet potatoes, and I just cut them up into strips like this, and then I also cut the potatoes as well. I am going to add some grapeseed oil, some salt, some seasonings, and then I turned each and every one of them flat side down so it gets that nice crisp. I'm going to bake this at 450 degrees for about 1 hour while I'm also going to prep the other vegetables on the side. I did the rest of the potatoes, and I also chopped up some Brussels sprouts and cauliflower. Then I tossed it with seasoning, salt, onion powder, paprika, and we are also going to bake this in the exact same oven. And for dinner, we are making the curry. So I have onion, carrots, celery, and I know it's kind of like a Italian thing where you start with the mirepoix or a French thing, but I like adding flavor upon flavor. So we are now adding some seasoning, some black mustard seeds, some grapeseed oil, and some fennel seeds, and we're going to toast that along with vegetables. After adding some tomatoes, we also added the rest of the curry, and I actually have a recipe down below. It's a Notion page with this particular recipe. If you decide you wanted to make this, go ahead and try because it is absolutely delicious. And I am also going to chop up some broccoli and cauliflower, add that to the pot alongside with a little bit more seasonings and cook that. Once that is cooked, I added some water so it will start to cook down. We're going to turn this on low and put it on the back burner to cook all night. And ta-da! Lunch is ready after about an hour. We roasted all of our vegetables and it is so easy. Such a simple lunch. This is what we had for lunch. Check out that crispy potato. That is my favorite part. We just love potatoes around here. We are huge fans. Alright, it is dinner time, so I am grinding up some spelt. This is just some spelt wheat berries, and we grind it up in our Blendtec. It's a very high-powered blender. We also ground up some soaked chickpeas, and we made a flatbread out of this. We added some seasonings, and we're going to bake this. We normally just add some water, some raw soaked chickpeas, and we blend it up. We make it like a paste like this and shove it in the oven. So then this is the final result for the curry. We are going to blitz this up with a hand blender into a very smooth curry sauce, such as this. You can absolutely serve this with rice, quinoa, wild rice. We are going to serve it up with our flatbread. We usually make this as unleavened bread, and it's just a flatbread. We use our spelt, some salt, some grapeseed oil, a little bit of baking soda, and some water. We're going to knead this into a dough, and then we're going to flatten it out and cook it on a cast iron skillet. You can absolutely make flatbread or unleavened bread with your hands, which I am doing now, or you can use a rolling pin if you have one. We're going to add some grapeseed oil into the skillet, and then we're just going to pan fry these until they're golden and crispy and finish off the cook in the oven. You can make these as thick or as thin as you like. We sort of like it in the middle. Some like it kind of thick and bready, but some like it thin as well. And so the thick ones definitely need a little bit more time cooking, so I pan fried them and then put them in the oven. So now it's time to rinse and repeat. I added a little bit more grapeseed oil just to make it more glossy and kind of mimics the prata that you get in Southeast Asia like Singapore or Malaysia. And we served it up with our delicious quote-unquote goat curry. We just dipped it, and it was the perfect meal to end the day. Good morning, folks. We have some black bananas. I left this in the fridge, and I completely forgot that we needed to use them. So I have like, 10-15 minutes to make some banana bread because, I don't know, I decided I want to make some banana bread. So I have about 15 minutes, and let's see if I can make some banana bread fast. So let's go. This morning I just had a little bit of time before my meeting, so I am starting with the blackened browned bananas. This is the perfect time to use the bananas up. I also ground up some spelt, and we're going to use some flax eggs, which is just basically ground up flax and some water. I hand mashed all of the bananas, and we're just going to add all of the ingredients in one big bowl. Here I'm starting with about a cup, 3/4 of a cup to a cup of coconut sugar, and then I added some coconut oil as well as some of the vanilla and the flax egg. For the rise, I added the apple cider vinegar, and we're going to use some baking soda later on once we add the flour. In the flax eggs go, This is just our binding agent. We're gonna mix it very well. Add some cinnamon. I also added a touch of maple syrup because I love the taste of maple syrup. Then we added some flour and the baking soda. Now, like most of the stuff that we cook, I didn't follow a recipe, so I was just instinctively cooking. When I look back, I did realize I probably should have added just a little bit more flour just to give it more body because it was a little bit soft. I am then going to prep our loaf pans. I just brushed them with coconut oil, and I love these pans. I'm going to put a link down below for these loaf pans because they are the best. Nothing really sticks in them. It's the best ones, and they're a great investment in your kitchen. Once I've oiled the pans, I just divvied the batter into each loaf pan and thumped them a little bit, baked them in the oven at 350 for about, I would say 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes, and we'll test it for doneness. We really enjoy banana bread here. We don't make it often, but it is always a treat. It is lunchtime and I got in, I was just stuck in meetings all morning until now, and finally I am done. The kids were nice enough to make some lunch and we're just having some spicy noodles here. Check that out. Seriously guys, the kids help out so much. And so they made some noodles for all of us for lunch today. I didn't record it because obviously I was working and in meetings. So I am here now and I am going to taste it. It is spicy. They did a pretty good job. If you haven't tried chickpea pasta, I highly suggest it. It has definitely changed my life and I could eat as much as I want. And coming from a person that struggled with weight, this pasta seriously is the best. Because it was such a long week, I really just wanted to make a quick and easy roast potato and roast veggie dinner. So here I am chopping up some sweet potatoes and some just regular red potatoes. I also did some Brussels sprouts and I seasoned these very well with grapeseed oil with some salt and seasonings like onion powder, Italian seasoning, and I also chopped up some beets as well that we're going to roast with the Brussels sprouts. If you haven't tried roast beets, it is one of our most favorite vegetables to roast because they just turn so caramelized and sweet. We love it topped on salads or just eat it by itself. I seasoned both of these very well with some paprika, onion powder, Italian seasonings. I rubbed it with my hands and put it in a hot oven of about 450 degrees, and I went to lay down on my bed, exhausted from the week. While we're waiting for the vegetables to roast, I put on this movie. Please let me know if you know this movie. This is a classic. Let me know in the comments. I roasted these for about an hour or so, and I also made a very simple avocado, cilantro, lime salad to go with our dinner, and here is Trey's plate. Look how abundant and lovely this looks. I ate while watching this movie and it was the perfect dinner. And for dessert, the kids made a simple and really refreshing peach slushie. It is Saturday, guys. Shabbat Shalom. Today I was actually planning on making some almond cookies and I wanted to write a recipe for it because it was so good. Well, this is a fail because I really wanted to make some almond cookies, but we ran out of coconut sugar. So I was gonna just cancel this video, but I figured I was gonna capture real life and what happened, and we are out. So we're gonna try with some molasses, and we're gonna do some molasses ginger cookies with maple syrup or something like that. In a large mixing bowl, we added some molasses as well as some maple syrup for the sweetener part. Next, we prepared the flax eggs, which is just ground flax and water, and we're going to grind up some cloves, and this is what it looks like when the flax eggs are ready to be mixed in. We poured the flax eggs into the mixture, and then we're just going to mix it up. It's not going to come together right now, but once we add the dry ingredients, which is just flour and baking soda and some of the seasonings, once we mix it all together, everything comes into one cookie consistency. On a lined baking sheet, I just used a 1/4 cup measure cup just to scoop out the batter. I didn't make it all fancy and round or perfectly round. I just scooped them up and dropped them onto the baking sheet. And then we're gonna bake it at 375 for about 10 to 12 minutes. Once they're done, we just let them cool all the way, and then we are going to put them on plates. Now today, because it was a weekend, we decided to make something that is a bigger batch of something. So I made some roasted vegetables, and Mercy is making a bread as well.
Because everyone is impatient, you just had to eat it.
Delicious.
Is it good?
I made a roast of broccoli, bell peppers, and onions, seasoned it, and put it in the oven. And once the cookies were cooled, I arranged them really nice on a pretty plate. Look at those cookies, and they were so good. Now this bread was more like a free-formed Irish bread inspired bread, and we just made a loaf. We're going to cut across and we're going to bake it, and this is what it looks like once it was done. I met a cashier one day at Sprouts that told me I should be soaking quinoa, and that's what we've been doing. We soak them and then we rinse them, and now I'm going to prepare the base for our quinoa, which is just onions, peppers, celery, and seasonings. I went with sort of a Cajun style seasoning. I added the quinoa, and we're just going to mix that all up together. We're going to season it very well, and I also added some ground organic turmeric just for a little bit more of that yellow color. I am cooking this until all the flavors sort of meld together, and then I added some Swiss chard here as well. And then we're just going to top it up with a little bit of water and cook it for about, I would say, 10 minutes on low. We cook it just enough to where the water is absorbed by the quinoa, and then we are also going to chop up some cilantro, parsley, and green onions and mix that in once the quinoa is cooked. Once the quinoa is done, the vegetables are done too, and we are just serving up a bowl. This is going to be for Trey, and voila, look at this delicious bowl. Here's my bowl. I'm just eating it in bed as I watch a movie, and this is what we had for dinner as well. So one cook, we ate it for 2 meals. It was absolutely delicious. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you love plant-based food recipes, we would love for you to subscribe and join us every week, and check out our new blog, highpath.com. The link is down below. Thank you once again for hanging out with us, and we will see you next week. Bye.